Welcome everyone to the MuxLab 2020 product highlights. We're going to be doing a quick review of the products that we've released this year. It's been, to put it mildly, a weird year, more so than any other in my lifetime and probably yours. It's been a very difficult and challenging year for most individuals, most companies, as you all know. We like anyone else have had our shares of struggles with the situation, working from home and all that. But we did manage to release a number of products, and which is what we're going to be talking about today. Just a quick review. And you see a list here of the different products that we've released throughout the year. Starting with digital signage, we're going to be covering all of these in detail in just a moment. So starting with digital signage, we released a whole new family of products there. We released a new line of live streaming products, which is actually pertinent to the current situation and was actually as a result of the current situation. We also released some video capture and recording products, and then a number of standard Pro AV products for the Pro AV market and also for the broadcast market, and some cables. So we're going to talk about each one individually. First and foremost, we're going to start with the signage product line. We released earlier this year a digital signage line, which consists of essentially a digital signage player and some CMS software, which we call DigiSign Plus, which is the content management system software. So together, we allow customers to be able to create content with our CMS software and then schedule it or publish it to the players where it plays autonomously. So starting with the software, our software platform supports multiple formats of video files, image files, and audio files. We support HTML5 as well as many different widgets, including things like RSS feeds, rate exchange, map widgets, tickers, and things like that. There's quite a number of widgets, and I'll be talking about it later, but throughout this coming year, 2021, we're going to be adding a lot more capabilities to the software. So basically, the essence of this platform, it was designed from the ground up to be extremely easy to use. I did a presentation on the product earlier this year, and we did also a live demonstration of it not too long ago, showing how easy it was to use. If you weren't able to attend, you can contact our marketing folks, and they can maybe provide you with a recording of that presentation. And again, that was the essence of what we did in that software, was to make it extremely easy to use for anyone, even someone who's new to signage. The software allows you to very easily group together many different content platforms from different file formats, bring them all together, different videos and images, and create a multi-view arrangement of the different content. And then schedule it out over up to a year's time or more onto the players, and then let it run autonomously. And from the player perspective, we have, we also offer you the ability to use existing templates that we've provided in the software, and we're going to be adding more in the coming year. Templates are just an easy way to create content where you have already a layout of a screen, of a slide, and then you can easily change text information around and change images, but keep the basic layout. It helps you get things up and running much quicker. And we have the actual player, which essentially runs the content for you autonomously. You don't need to have the CMS software connected to it. You only need to use the CMS software to create the actual content and then send the content or schedule it out and send it to the player. Once it's on the player, it runs autonomously, using the internal memory of the player. And it holds all the information and can run all on its own. It supports up to 4K 60 videos. In fact, it can support up to 2 dual 4K 60 windows or multiple 1080p windows that you can create as a layout. And it'll both upscale and downscale video accordingly, depending on the TV that you're using to show the content. The system supports not only slides, but you can create playlists, which are accumulation of multiple slides in multiple formats. So it's a very flexible environment. It supports what's called a keyword dictionary, which is the ability to use content inside your slide that is variable. And in fact, it sort of uses a lookup table to replace some keywords that you put into the slide and replace it with content that's in a keyword dictionary. Very good, for example, if you have a slide with pricing information and that pricing information changes over time, you can have that pricing information on a separate document and just change it on the document, and it's automatically updated on your slide. Makes for a very flexible system for you. And of course, this player is compatible with our CMS software, and it's going to be compatible with some upcoming products that we'll talk about at the end of the presentation. We're going to talk about what's coming out in 2021. And so we'll be talking about a local and public cloud offering that we'll be developing that'll work hand in hand with this player and with the CMS software. So the signage in general is used all over the place. I mean, you see it everywhere. Here we're just showing an example in retail where you would have, multiple screens inside a retail store. It could be a boutique of some kind. You may have, at the front of the store, you might have some screens showing some ads for the retail organization, and you can have some screens inside the store as well, showing ads for their products. And then you can do this with many, many different types of applications. You see signage in airports where they're showing arrivals, departures, and ads for their local restaurants within the airport, and with the duty-free shops and things like that. You can see this in hotels, in the lobbies, also in lobbies of corporate offices and the sort. So signage is pretty much everywhere, in train stations, malls, etc. So it's a very practical product. And again, what's special about our offering is we've made it extremely easy to use so that anybody is up and running in minutes. And if you haven't attended the live video that I mentioned, I encourage you to contact our marketing folks and ask for a copy of that webinar so you can see it in action. Next up, we developed a line of streaming products. We released one actually this month, the first one, and we're going to be releasing one next month and some others further on. And again, we'll talk about that when we talk about 2021. Here we have products that are going to be tailored for various applications such as house of worship, distance learning, fitness training, influencers, gaming, etc. In fact, it can be used in many different types of applications because of the situation we're in. A lot of people are now able to reach their audience through broadcasting tools such as YouTube, Facebook, Wowza, and other tools that they use to get information out and be able to contact their followers through those platforms. So we're coming out with a line of products to be able to do that. Our systems will support multi-camera supports for multiple camera views, and you can switch between the camera views. We will support multi-view windows within a single screen, including picture-in-picture. The kits come with a PTZ, a pan-tilt zoom camera that allows up to 12 times optical zoom, so it doesn't necessarily have to be next to you. It can be further away and you can zoom in and you don't lose any image quality. It supports full HD, so excellent image quality. And we also offer wireless microphones and everything so that you're basically autonomously giving a lecture or a class of some kind. It could be a cooking class, could be a fitness class, etc. And you can be mobile and still being filmed. We're going to have solutions with supporting both one and two-way communications. One-way communications would be, for example, the fitness class, where two-way communications would probably be something along the lines of distance learning, where you have students at home and the teacher in the class lecturing to his students and being able to communicate back and forth. Our system will support presets, so you'll be able to set various cameras at different pan-tilt zoom positions and recall them instantly at the push of a button. Again, we're going to develop a management platform that is, again, easy to use. Similar to our previous product we talked about, the emphasis here of this kit is that it's going to be very easy to use and intuitive for the user. A lot of people who are now being forced to broadcast their services, which they may not have done in the past, may not be so computer savvy, and we're trying to make their life a whole lot easier and simpler to get online and be able to broadcast through various services. With respect to compatibility on the different services offered, we're all pretty much familiar with the most popular ones, and we support them. So if you're broadcasting to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Wowza, and many others, we're going to support those. And we actually, within the application, we actually guide you on how to set up a stream to YouTube and Facebook, etc. If you're going to be using any production and broadcasting applications such as OBS and Wirecast, we're compatible with those. And of course, if you're going to be using any two-way communication platforms, we're also compatible with those, such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, etc. You can see a couple of the kits down here, and we're going to talk about them in more detail in just a second. The first kit that we've just released is the single camera streaming solution. This kit comes with a PTZ pan-tilt zoom camera, remotely manageable from our app. And it will send its content to our streaming transmitting device. This device is responsible for capturing the video as well as the audio from a wireless microphone that you attach to your person, and that allows you to be mobile. And then that both the audio and the video are transmitted to the broadcast service of your choice, be it YouTube, Facebook, etc. Again, we offer you an app that runs either on a Windows platform or iOS or Android mobile device. And you can then use our software. The software is free to download, and it allows you to manage this in a very user-friendly manner. To give you a heads up of what the app looks like, we also, by the way, did a live demonstration of this platform a few weeks ago. Again, if you'd like to have a copy, if you weren't able to attend that presentation, I encourage you to contact our marketing folks, and they'll send you a recording of that webinar. This is what the software looks like. It essentially gives you a main window for the camera view, and if you click on this little button here, you get a pop-up where you can then control your camera, the pan, tilt, and the zoom aspect of the camera, and you can control the volume of the microphone to make adjustments as you need. So it's extremely easy to use, and when you want to create a stream, you click on Create Stream, and it'll allow you to connect and stream to services such as YouTube, etc. And it does walk you through the steps of how to do that. So even if you haven't done it in the past, it makes it very easy to do. That platform makes use of this camera. The camera is included with the kit. We're going to be coming with some other kits early next year, which are multi-camera solutions, and we always include one camera with the kit. And if you need more, you can purchase the cameras individually. This is, again, a PTZ camera, supports pan-tilt zoom under remote management of our application. And it does support a 12 times optical zoom, and it can go up to 16 times digital zoom. On the optical side, there's absolutely no loss of image quality as you zoom in and out. And it supports full HD, and it's managed via IP in the form in which we control it from our app. So that's our current streaming kit that we have available today. Again, soon I'll be talking about next year's offerings, so we'll look at what's coming down the pipe in actually very short term. With respect to some of the other products, we've also come out with a video capture and streaming solution, both for HDMI and for SDI. The HDMI is for the Pro AV market, and the SDI for the broadcast market. They both essentially work similarly. You have an example here of how it works. You have a source such as a camera connected to the device, as well as a microphone. So you can be filming yourself and speaking at the same time. And you get an output out of a local monitor. So you've got a loop out to see what's being filmed. And at the same time, the content is being sent via USB to a PC, where at that point you can either record the information that's being captured, and you can also transmit it to a YouTube, Facebook, or other services like that. Now, this kit requires you to be a little bit more computer savvy. It doesn't come with any special apps or anything. You just have the device, which will do the capturing for you, and it'll send the content to the PC, where you can then, again, record it, or send it to broadcasting services like YouTube and Facebook, where the previous kit that I mentioned is a complete kit, which comes with the application software, the camera, and the mic, and the streaming device. So we give you various ways in being able to stream content to broadcast services depending on your capabilities and needs. We also came out with some Pro AV products. This first one here is a quad view processor. This actually came out earlier in the year. This device allows you to capture, to connect multiple sources, up to 4 sources, to this device, and then you can rearrange the screens as you like. You can create different layouts of the different content that you're bringing in from the different sources. It supports 5 fixed presets that you can use, or you can create 8 custom presets, and those presets basically are the layouts that you would arrange. So you can create 8 different custom layouts of your choosing and save them under a preset, and you can easily call them up at any time. This is very good for signage applications, or just having multiple information being displayed on the screen at the same time from various sources. It supports up to 4K 60 per source and sends the content to a 4K 60 screen as well. The device has 2 outputs, so you can actually drive 2 monitors from those 4 sources. So you can have, if you like, you can actually have different content on one screen from the other, or you can duplicate the same content on both screens if you like. We have come up with a version 2 of an existing product. We had a product, part number was 50464. We now have a version 2 of that. What we've done is we've added a lot more distance capability to the product. It actually goes 10 times further than the previous model. The previous model was able to go up to 100 meters. This one can go up to 1 kilometer in distance, or 3,300 feet, using multi-mode fiber as the link between the transmitting device and the receiving device. And this device will send a 4K 60 HDMI signal from one end to the other up to 1,000 meters away. It supports all of the standards with HDMI 2.0, which meaning that it supports HDCP 2.2. It supports the EDID from your TV down to your source, and supports CEC for control of devices as well. We also came out with a broadcast product in the over IP market. We came out with an HDMI 2.0, so it's 4K 30. In this case, it supports ST2110. ST2110 is a broadcast standard that was created by the industry for over IP devices, and it ensures that one manufacturer's product will work with another manufacturer's product. So essentially, you could take a transmitting device from one manufacturer and connect it with a receiving device of another manufacturer. You're also going to see more and more devices such as cameras and displays having ST2110 compatible ports on them so that they can directly connect to the network and communicate with legacy devices that would use these products to allow them to also connect to the network. So the purpose of this product is to take, for example, a legacy camera that does not support ST2110, but you want to connect it to an ST2110 monitor. You first have to make it ST2110 compatible, and you would use one of the transmitting devices here to do that, or vice versa. If you had a legacy monitor, you could use the ST2110 receiver connected to that and make that monitor ST2110 compatible and working with ST2110 environments. So this device works in a 10 gig network, uncompressed. So you have no loss of image quality whatsoever. In the broadcast industry, that's very important. And it also offers you a 1 gig port for other devices that you may want to connect. We just have some extra bandwidth available, so we made that available for you as a convenience. The device can also transmit RS-232 signals from one end to the other, as well as audio signals, in addition to the audio-video signal being picked up via the HDMI port. So this product was released mid this year, and we're going to be upgrading, adding some more functions and capabilities to it in the coming year, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Next up, we have some splitters still in the broadcast market. We have two 12G SDI splitters. One of them is a 1x4 and the other one is a 1x8 splitter. They support anywhere from SD SDI, HD SDI, 3G, 6G, and 12G SDI, depending on your needs. And they also reclock and regenerate the signal, so you can actually cascade units together if you wanted to create a larger splitter. And it's just a simple plug and play device, allows you to connect a source and have it go out to multiple sync devices such as TVs, etc., in the broadcast world. Also, to complete the line, we had a lot of requests for offering some cables to go along with some of our devices. So we've come out with two variants of a premium certified HDMI 2.0 cable, which supports up to 4K 60 444. It comes in a 1 meter flavor and 2 meter option. They also come in either a 2-pack or 10-pack kit. So depending on your needs, you have various options available to you. They support full 18 gig uncompressed at 4K 60. And these are premium certified cables, so you're ensured of the quality that you're getting on these devices. They support all of the standards, 3D video, as well as Ethernet and ARC as well. So that sort of summarizes the line of products that we were able to release, even though we were all faced with challenges, us and everyone else. We still managed to release a number of products this year and some key ones that are important even for the situation we're in today, such as the streaming line. Next up, we're going to be talking about where we're headed in the coming year. So we'll start by saying goodbye to 2020, and I think everyone will be happy to see this year go by. For some, it'll be a worse situation than others. Some people have lost some loved ones, unfortunately, which makes that even more difficult. But we've also had a lot of companies struggling throughout the year and personal issues that people had to go through. Just a terrible year for pretty much everyone. So hopefully 2021 is going to be a better year. and we'd like to talk to you about some of the things we're going to be doing in the coming year. This is just a quick highlight of some of the products we're going to be either enhancing or adding to the line. There are more, but we're just going to cover the main ones. I mentioned that we're going to be working on a local and public cloud. We've already started that development. We're going to be coming out in Q1 in Q1 of 2021 with a local cloud offering for our digital signage line. So I mentioned that the digital signage player you can hold the information locally on the player, but if you've got a larger installation, it makes more sense to use a local cloud, which will contain all of the signage material for all of the players in that location. So rather than sending content to each player, you send content to the signage, to the local cloud, and the local cloud will take care of distributing the content over the various players. And that's also true if you need to do any, update of firmware of the different players. You can do that through the local cloud. So that device will support internal memory as well as external memory via a USB hard drive. So you can connect a 4 terabyte hard drive, for example, to this device and store as much content as you need for as many players as you need at that site, and then be able to have that function correctly at a given site. If you've got an even larger installation and you're thinking more along the lines of global communications, then we're also going to be offering a public cloud coming out in Q2 of 2021 that will allow you to have one cloud servicing all your devices globally, no matter where they happen to be. And that will allow you to create very, very large installations across the globe and manage them all from one public cloud location. Again, you send all your content to the public cloud, and the cloud will manage all of the distribution of the content to the different players throughout the world. The local cloud is a device that you pay for once. Like our player, you pay for it once. The public cloud is going to be a device that you would pay a monthly fee for having access to the public cloud. And that information, once it's available, will be made available to you. And that hasn't been finalized yet. We're also going to be offering enhancements to the existing DigiSign Plus CMS software. We're going to be adding more templates. We're going to be adding more widgets and more capabilities to the software to enhance your experience. But we're still going to keep the ease of use aspect of the software, which we think is a key benefit of this platform. Next up on the streaming side, I mentioned we released a single camera solution this year. Early next year, we're going to be releasing a multi-camera solution, which will allow you to connect up to 4 cameras. This kit will come standard with 1 camera, but you can purchase, as I mentioned, we can sell the camera separately. You can add up to 4 cameras in total on this kit and have up to 4 camera views, and being able to switch from one view to another by simply pushing a button on our application software that you get for free. And then again, the software will run on either a PC or on a tablet, either iOS or Android, or a smartphone as well, depending on your needs. And in this particular case, it's similar to the previous single camera solution in that you still have the transmitter that will send content to YouTube and Facebook, etc. And the content comes from the microphone, the wireless microphone, as well as the 4 cameras. So you can have up to 4 cameras being used. And because there are 4 cameras, you have a switching device to switch between the camera views and sending that to the streaming transmitter device. So this allows you to very quickly preview the different screens of preview each of the different cameras, and then select between those cameras to be able to send that content to your broadcasting service. To have a quick look at what the application is going to look like, it's going to have 1 view for each camera. And prior to sending that view to your live broadcast, you can select it for local preview, where you can adjust the pan tilt zoom, or select a preset to bring up a preset pan tilt zoom position and volume level. And once you're happy with it, you can then send it to the live view. So it allows you to pre-adjust a view before you send it live. So it's going to give you more flexibility, more capabilities of being able to manage the different cameras and the different camera angles, and in a more professional manner. So that is going to be available in Q1 of 2021. And to be a little bit more precise, we are targeting end of January, early February to have this available to you for purchase. We're going to be coming out with some other platforms as well. This next one supports multi-view capabilities. It looks almost like the previous one I just mentioned, but instead of having a switcher, we have a multi-view switcher. So this switcher can also blend different camera views together on one screen, and you can switch between the different cameras individually or between the different camera combinations, multi-view combinations. And you can do presets to save the different multi-view arrangements that you want, and then you can call them up instantly at a moment's notice from our app. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. You can have up to 4 different cameras for different camera views, or a blend of the different cameras mixed together and have them going through the system. This will be available by the end of Q1. Keep in mind that for all the streaming kits that I'm talking about, we already have developed the hardware. Everything is ready to go. We are just developing the application software to support this arrangement. We also have a final kit that we're going to be coming out with, which supports a 2-way multi-view live streaming solution. And this is going to be focused more towards distance learning applications, where you have a teacher that's lecturing to students. And this solution will work hand in hand with platforms that you're already familiar with, like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, etc., allowing you to use those tools to connect with the students. And at the same time, the teacher can have various HDMI sources. They can be cameras and other devices, such as a laptop for a presentation, or some document, HDMI electronic document device that provides HDMI connectivity to that multi-viewer switcher, allowing you to create multiple views as well as switching between the different views. And the lecture information would then be sent using Zoom and Teams and Google Meet to be able to send that over the network to the students. And this solution will be available in Q2 of 2021. Next up, we're coming out with some Pro AV products as well. As I mentioned, this particular one is for our over IP line. It's to enhance the line. We're going to be offering a 4K 60 over IP device supporting HDMI 2.0, supports HDCP 2.2, etc. It's going to use JPEG compression, and which is a low latency compression algorithm. So the latency is about 1 frame or 16 milliseconds. This device will run on a 1 gig network. So it'll send 4K 60 on a 1 gig network. And we're targeting sometime in Q1 to do the release of this product. In addition to the HDMI signal, you can also send RS-232 IR, as well as an additional audio channel along with the audio that's already embedded in the HDMI. So it gives you a fair amount of flexibility. And because this runs on a 1 gig network, this device will also support PoE, power over Ethernet, so you don't need a power supply with it. You can draw power from your Ethernet switch. So this will complete our over IP line. On the 1 gig side, we'll have 1 gig products capable. We'll have models supporting 1080p, models supporting 4K 30, and models supporting 4K 60, such as this one, all on 1 gig networks. We do have some 4K 60 products today that run on a 10 gig network, but if you're looking for a 1 gig variant of that, this will be the product for you. I mentioned that mid this year we released the broadcast over IP product that I talked about earlier. This is the HDMI product that supports 4K 30 uncompressed over a 10 gig network, and it supports ST21, the ST2110 standard in the broadcast industry. In addition to that, we're going to be enhancing the product, and in Q1 of the coming year, we're going to be adding redundancy capability to the product. In fact, we're trying to do the redundancy release probably before the end of January 2021, and so that will allow you to make use of these two ports on the back here. These are the link ports between the transmitter and the receiver. You'll have two independent ports that you can connect up following two different network paths, so that and they're redundant paths, so that if one path were to drop, the other path would kick in and you wouldn't lose any signal. And this is important for the broadcast industry, where they have live broadcasts and they cannot afford any downtime. This product will allow you to support redundancy and do that. We'll also be releasing a little bit later, more towards the middle of Q1, we'll do another release which will offer NMOS support. NMOS is a control platform that's also a standard in the broadcast industry, to be able to use third-party applications to control our devices using the NMOS protocol, NMOS standard. So that'll be available by probably mid Q1 in 2021. Where the redundancy will probably be released in January, sometime towards the end of January. And these releases, as in the cases of all our firmware releases, are free to download. They're available on our website. So you just go to our website under support. There's a section there called software firmware. You click on that and you get a list of all the different softwares and firmwares that we have available to you. Whenever we do an update, whether it's bug fixes or enhanced features, things of that sort, they're always free for you to download and then install on the product, and you've got some new capabilities. So anyone who purchased this product this year will be able to, by the end of January, to go and get the redundancy firmware version and load it onto their system, and they'll now have that redundancy capability on their product. We're also going to be adding PTP support on the receiving side. It's currently available on the transmitter side, and we're going to be adding it to the receiver. So it's a PTP is a clock to clock everything together. In addition to that, we're going to be working on a new device that will be coming out in the latter half of next year. This will be a 12G SDI over IP device, again supporting the ST2110 standard. It will be uncompressed as well. However, this one uncompressed at 12G will be running over a 25 gig network. And you will have two ports, so you'll be able to support redundancy as well. And it will support ST2110, and will also support NMOS. And like the other product, this product will also have a 1 gig port that you can use for other devices. But the main port will be an SDI port, which is basically a 12G SDI port, to allow you to transmit 12G SDI from one end to the other without any loss of quality. It's all uncompressed. And of course, 12G SDI is equivalent to, in resolution, it's equivalent to a 4K 60 444 signal. So that's a recap of what we've done this year, despite the limitations of the year that the year presented to all of us.